Will Robinson, danger.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization. The world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl the Wolves. It's Saturday night, January 31, 2026 or 2026. What did they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
Keith Temple, Lieutenant Keith Temple in studio. How are you?
I am awesome. Great Saturday night. Glad to be with all you guys.
Co-host Dr. Brooks Agnew up in North Carolina. How are you?
Doing pretty well, a little snowed in, but none the worse for wear in the carriage house.
There you go. Incredible house that Dr. Brooks Agnew built. Incredible house. Joining us, he's no stranger to longtime listeners on this show, no stranger at all. He's been with me since 2009. He's done a lot of stuff that we can't talk about, all that. He's boots on the ground at the inception of the Iraq War. Bob Austin, hoorah.
Hoorah.
Bob, it's been last time you were on, and we had a great talk today. First time you were on with Brooks, who's been on since 2009 as well. So it's...
Oh, yeah, dude. I love listening to him.
We all do.
Yeah. Hey, you think you know something, you come away, damn, I don't know squat. I like that. I like that.
That's true. Listen, the most interesting man in the world is Dr. Brooks Agnew. And
I appreciate that. I'm humbled to the dust.
Well, Brooks, just think about it. Bob's been on as long as you have. It's just when he's not on, not as many times as you, but when he's not on, he listens to the show. And so he was like, when we were talking today, he was like, oh, Brooks is on? Fuck yeah.
I'm just glad to be here.
A lot of stuff to talk about, and we go anywhere and all this. Keith, just let me know. Is a yes or no on the Texas chili?
Ooh, man. Chad reached out a little bit, tried a new dish. You know, he treats us here at the studio every Saturday night, and man, he knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna tell you, it's a little bit of a kick, but it, as I think Chad says, it's not insane. You know, it's not one of those just 3-alarm fires either. So good stuff.
Well, shout out to Matt Pittman. If you find him on YouTube, it's Meat Church, and he's a pit master, and that's his chili recipe, Texas chili, down in Tejas.
Well, you picked a good night for chili, that's for sure.
Yes, Chad said there aren't no beans in Texas chili, so no beans in this chili tonight.
No. 3 pounds of meat and a lot of other stuff, but no beans. Real quick, I want to say this to listeners before we get going. If you're a listener who picks this show up after the live show and all that, and you're like, what the fuck happened to last Saturday night show? If you listen on YouTube, you can go to Rumble and you can listen to Last Saturday Night Show on Rumble. Okay? YouTube, we had Ty Bollinger on last Saturday night, and YouTube gave us a strike and removed Last Saturday Night Show. So if you listen in replay, if you don't listen live, you can listen to Last Saturday Night Show on Rumble because YouTube hates Ty Bollinger.
What's the Rumble channel?
Rumble, we're Earth Radio Network on Rumble. So you go to Earth Radio, on Rumble, look up Earth Radio Network, and you can pick up Last Saturday Night Show and listen to it because Rumble, doesn't censor. It's unfortunate what YouTube is doing. I figured since it was misinformation is what we were, medical misinformation that we were giving out because Ty was on. Would YouTube strike us for giving out misinformation tonight? Folks, I think it's totally legal for you to drive 170 miles an hour in a 40. Is that misinformation, YouTube?
Unless you're on the Autobahn in Germany.
But anyway, so if you miss the Last Saturday Night Show because you don't listen live, go to Rumble, and F YouTube. There you go. Brooks, you were there with us last Saturday night. We didn't give out any misinformation.
Oh, the whole thing was disinformation. Yeah.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah. We're so bad. We pulled the nation with us, and we withdrew from the World Health Organization.
Ooh, there you go. Influence of the show, man. We've broken it.
Now you want medical misinformation now? That's where you tune in. It's good old WHO.
Yeah. That's where you go to get your misinformation. YouTube.
What did they try to say today? Oh yeah. Well, we didn't tell anybody to mask up. We didn't close schools and restaurants. We didn't cause 15 million people in the U.S. to lose their jobs. We didn't do that.
We didn't tell you if you were in the military you had to get a jab. We didn't tell you, that if you were in a, first responder in a hospital and a nurse and you wouldn't get a jab that you were going to get fired. None of that happened.
Or if you were paddle boarding on the beach by yourself, you had to wear a mask.
Or if Tim Walls is out there shooting you with paintballs for standing on your front steps.
Exactly.
Remember that. We will never forget, and we will never forgive.
Right.
And didn't they shut the churches down too?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, my gym where I worked out, the gym refused to close. So they took his business license and took his bank account with $125,000 in it. And they froze it because he refused to close the gym.
Yeah, misinformation.
Yeah, we remember.
I spent 1.5 years in Facebook jail over that.
Yeah, talk about Ty being the most banned man on radio. Bob is the most banned man on Facebook.
Now I lost my Twitter account. I still haven't got it back to this day. And I lost my YouTube account, and magically they brought it back. But of course, none of my followers. So.
Right. Well, Bob, I didn't realize that you were boots on the ground in the Iraq War. We had Amy on, a month or two ago, and she was talking. She wrote a book about American prisoner in the basement. Yes.
American in the basement, Bob's.
An American in the basement.
And it's interesting is I was on the Saratoga, which, we launched one of the first planes, and Spiker was, on the Saratoga, and one of my classmates from Annapolis was flying wingman with him. And so I think Amy and he are going to get together and have a little chat about some things, but it's a small world.
So he saw him go down. Did he Did he see he got down?
From my understanding, is that my Naval Academy friend is under the impression that he was shot down and killed. And so, but I mean, he's flying his issue and,
Oh, yeah.
and all he sees is that the plane next to him, is lit up and exploded and, and then he's going on about his business. So, he and Amy are going to have a conversation and, he'll have to walk down that path, ever how he chooses. But he's a good guy. He's an honest guy. I mean, I know him. I mean,
Right.
He's in my contacts.
Oh, I don't know. Hey, listen, I don't know anything about. I saw Top Gun, so that's about my extent of naval aviation.
That's as close as you got to pulling 3.5 Gs, huh?
Right. But my favorite fighter pilot was Bull Meacham,
Oh, come on. Bob and I's
the
favorite,
great Santini.
our favorite book, our favorite movie.
With the basketball hitting his son upside
Put
the
him on the
head,
deck. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah,
right? And then
that's right.
right, I know that show. Yeah. Then ultimately, doesn't he give up his life saving people on the beach instead of landing?
He takes his plane. He got it out of the population.
Right.
It's a great book and they did a great adaptation with the great Santini folks. If you haven't seen that, Robert Duvall played.
I think it's his greatest performance,
Yeah.
but he's had a lot, so that's debatable.
Yeah. So Bob's done a lot, seen a lot, all this stuff. Bob, do you want me to embellish you a little before we get going?
Now, look, I got a question. for
He doesn't
Keith.
want me to do it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. You've been to the Persian Gulf. What do you think this Armada's up to? You got an idea?
Well, this is what I will say, and I've said it to Chad. I've said it, I think, on this show. I've said it to some, friends and all. If you want a prediction, I think we're going to do some operation in the next 60 to 90 days like we did in Venezuela. That's my personal opinion. I've always said, like how the Persian Gulf War started up, those carriers, they're on like basically 6 months on station. I mean, that's just generally how they do. They're in an 18-month, 2-year workup cycle of getting ready to go with a new crew, and then they head over and they get used to the new air wing on there, and then but when you start to see carriers, when they get relieved, not come home but stay, so now you got extra aircraft, extra, that generally indicates that they're real serious about doing something. And you can take all this stuff in Minnesota and all that, but I think the story 4 to 6 weeks from now is going to be that so I think you're right on track there.
Brooks, what's on your radar with that?
Well, I've done a lot of thinking about this. And I think that there are several things to consider. Number one is, of course, the political pressure. The Democrats have already tried to strip President Trump's war powers from him. They failed. So the Supreme Court is almost standing firmly behind the president with his war powers. But there is a contingent, maybe even in the MAGA crowd, that doesn't want him to start a war with another country. Now, that being said, we've ended 8 wars around the country. That's a good thing. I personally think with over 36,000 dead civilians, and the method of death is basically machine gunning and throwing hand grenades into crowds of unarmed people, And then when they go to the hospital injured, you go into the hospital, go bed to bed to bed, and shoot them in the head to make sure they're dead. I think that in the 21st century goes beyond the pale. And I think anything that can be done to send the mullahs to meet their virgins in heaven should be done. And it will be done. And that's where I think it's going. We may not do a full-scale attack, but we're going to make sure the mullahs don't breathe air anymore.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very targeted, very specific. You know, I think the Iranian people have demonstrated that they are ready for a change.
Well, they have for years. They like American genes.
Well, on the other hand, I do agree with Keith in that I think the sophistication and the coordination and even the technology of this upcoming attack is going to be so devastating, so swift, and so intimidating. The entire world is going to hold their breath.
Let me just. I know Bob Bob's been some places, and I think Bob, what you don't want is any boots on the ground, because boots on the ground is total bullshit, which we know.
Well, you know, with the modern warfare and whatnot, boots on the ground. Well, how'd that work out? You know, in the global war on terror after 20-something years, whatever. I mean, just being honest. I mean,
Well, no, that's why I brought it up, Bob, because you fucking lived it.
well, and for what?
It was a lie. It was a lie, and that's why you're pissed off, because it was a fucking lie. The whole global war on terror.
it'll mess with your it'll mess with you when you know, just I don't know when you I don't know. Yeah, I got a little bit of the, you know, but yeah, it's pretty harsh reality, I guess you would. Cognitive dissonance and stuff, all be, you know, what it is, and then you see, and then you go back as a soldier, or, you know, as a patriot. I'm with Smedley Butler, you know. The only reason we should fight is the defense of the Constitution, your home, you know, your country, you know, defense, and that's it for war.
Yeah.
And for any other reason, it's a racket. He wrote a book on it. I mean, he was in the Businessman's Plot and all that. That's all real, you know.
I'm in the same camp. I mean, I don't think that even going into Iraq and doing away with the mullahs, that's really not our fight. I mean, it's terrible to watch civilians get machine gunned in the streets, and maybe we have a moral responsibility to help, but that's not our job. The Constitution didn't give us that job.
Exactly. It's a selective outrage. What about all the, you know, millions of people starving in North Korea, you know? It's just, there's, you know, this, in a country, look, our country's so screwed up right now. I mean, I was talking to my son earlier, and I said, this is not the country that I grew up in. I said, we had Top Gun. We were, speaking of Navy, there you go. That's, and, you know, a patriotic, you know, my peers and stuff, you know, everybody at that time. And you see the boiling frog, and we are in a different world now. And unfortunately, we never let our humanity catch up with our ingenuity and technology. I think we're headed in a really, you know, people talk about revelations, the end times, you know, it's all open to everybody's interpretation, but you just see the division in this country, and it's every one of our enemies is just chomping at the bit, and rightfully so. I mean, we're at the weakest as far as morale, you know, and even people that were neutral before, in my opinion, they're just, you know, watching the mainstream media going, who believes this shit?
Right.
Well, fortunately, America's debauchery doesn't center around our military operations. It centers around Democrats' operations with fraud and stealing from the American taxpayer. I mean, it's clear now that over 60% of the U.S. debt is fraud. And it just boggles the mind how far and deep this goes, how many billions of dollars per hour they're stealing from the American taxpayer to fund what? What are they funding? You know, to keep themselves in office so they can have power to make more money? So they're common fucking thieves? That's
Some
what
of
we
them-
become?
Some of them are. I mean, I think that you have to draw that conclusion that there are some
Well,
people in areas of influence.
It's
that-
no wonder the world thinks we should take a dirt nap. Just our whole, every agency, department, bureau, and administration is full of theft and liars and pedophiles, and it's. I mean, we've cut 284,000 federal workers out of our government in the last year. I haven't felt it. Nobody I know has felt it. If anything, the government's more efficient now than it's ever been, and I think they need to keep going.
Yes. Yes, Brooks, right on. They need to keep going. And
Well, we said on the show a few weeks ago is the only way you're going to cut the corruption out of the federal government is to close it down like the Department of Education. You know, if you turn it down to the states, I mean, there might be state level fraud. I'm sure there will be, but at least it's not going from, you know, red states to blue states, you know. Just look at way a rethinking of what is the federal government's role.
hey, Bob.
Well, yes,
go ahead,
you
Brooks.
could say that, but I mean, look at you know, Brooke Rollins, who has basically told the blue cities, if you don't give us data on who is on welfare in your state, you're not getting any money. No data, no money. I think that's the right way to go.
Yes.
I agree. Hey, Bob.
Yo,
Yo.
If you look at, well, there are several layers of HHS, but if you look at all the fraud that's in daycare and hospice, it's just, I don't know. I think you just need to cut it all off and make everybody reapply.
what do you think Biden's LLCs were?
Well, it was worth enough to choose him as vice president and then later president. That's how much money it was worth.
Yeah. I
And
knew
Walls was almost as big.
USAID, NGOs. Yeah, that's a pretty good racket if you can. I mean, I'm just, you know, you open up one of those, it's kind of the equivalent of open up a church or something because it's a cash register.
You know, Stacey Abrams, 60 days after opening hers in Georgia, the administration gave her $2 billion.
She had $100 in it, $100 in the bank. You want to know another one? How about the former ambassador to the UN, a CIA operative named Samantha Power, who is owned by John Brennan, opened a little NGO in Nigeria and had $3 billion a year going into that NGO that she managed. Now, where do you think that money went?
Where did it come from?
It came from USAID.
Right. Taxpayer. U.S. taxpayer. Clinton administration. Clinton, you know, foundation. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
Obama was, I don't know, it just got worse. When Clinton got in, you had the state corruption that was Mena, Arkansas, end up in the federal government. And then when that was handed off to Obama, it got worse and it just metastasized. I mean, it's to the point now where if you remove that tumor, you kill the country. But I think the American people are willing to bear the pain. Cut that fucking thing out.
Reagan,
You remember
Ronald
when
Reagan
Barack
says, starve the beast, right?
I remember when Barack Obama said Americans are going to have to change their standard of living. And the
Yeah.
Democrat crowd stood up and cheered like, our jaws are on the floor, like, what the? And they're cheering. And all I can say is, do you think he fundamentally changed America? Because, he had 3 terms.
That was his job.
The third one was the one that was the real. I mean, this last 4 years with Biden, that's the most ridiculous, whatever period I think I've ever heard of.
Yeah, Obama was running that auto pen.
Absolutely.
You know, this thing, I mean, he had 8 years, or, actually he had 12. He had 16 years, but actually he had 8 to appoint the people in the places, in the places, whether you started in at starter level on his year 1, by the time, you're still, middle or upper management under Trump, you're still there. And then they steal the election. Anyway, I just noticed in the military the same type of politics as far as the way it works, and promotions, especially to the general, colonels and generals. It's very political. And
that's the first thing you told me, Bob, years ago. You told me, I'm learning about you and what you do. I went to high school with Bob's little brother. That's how we met. You said, Chad, it's politics. Talking about the military, when it comes to getting up in the upper ranks, they're politicians.
Oh yeah. And I was in the Air Force, and everything above full bird was totally corrupt. The further I went into the Pentagon, the more stars I saw on the epaulets, the more corruption there was. It was so bad that Space Command was so corrupt. It was eating so much money that President Trump had to form the Space Force and pull Space Command away from the Air Force and start all over.
Yeah, so Bob, it's politics, right?
It's politics, yeah. But that's just the military side. Obama did the biggest purge ever when he first came in, but the politics of the bureaucracy, all the non-elected, the government people that's in charge of everything. In other words, it's a key term operation, man. It's just a turnkey operation. It just say it's going to continue going after, and the system is it's broken. Obviously, and that's the saddest thing. When you start looking at these numbers, how much would it cost to end homelessness in the United States? That's so many billion or whatever. Like, man, we sent Ukraine more than that this year.
No shit.
Well, the more we spend, the more we get. I mean, they spent, what, $500 billion in California, and we have more homeless now than we did then. And if we'd have just spent the money on the homeless, we could have bought and paid for a brand new home for every one of them and saved money.
But that's not the design they want. That's not the outcome they want. Because debt is slavery, and there you go. Debt is slavery. So, yeah, that's who's running who's the country that's in the most debt?
Guys.
Who's got debt too? Who does it benefit?
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to try and pull Bob's arm, and he's probably going to pull his arm back and say, fuck you, Chad. But anyway, I'm going to try in just a little bit, because there's a lot of new listeners, Bob. Stuff has changed, So I can't force Bob, because he would kill me. because he has that capability as the operator.
Easy, man, easy. You know I'm a pacifist now.
Yeah. But I'm going to try and see if Bob will do this just for a one time. You've only done it one time. Do it twice. But before I bring that up, Mondavi, if that's how I'm pronouncing the so-called mayor, the mayor guy in New York, he's getting his ass handed to him by Hochul, which is funny as hell because he's wanting to raise, and he wants to raise taxes again on people in New York City who are a certain tax bracket, and businesses by 22%. So if you're a millionaire living in New York, or you own a business, he wants to raise those taxes, and then Holcomb's coming back and saying, "No, we're not going to do that." It's funny to me that New York City votes for this socialist dude, and then they get what they get, and then Holcomb, who obviously is nowhere near. As a governor, nowhere near anyone that we would vote for, those of us on this show. She knows damn well. She knows damn well not to say, yeah, let's raise more taxes.
Ma'am Donnie, do you guys listen or watch the Hodge twins?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw this before this show started, and I'm going to go out. Anyway, there's a picture of Jeffrey Epstein with Ma'am Donnie's mother.
Oh, wow.
From way back in the day. And they just shared this article. And the speculation and the timing is all, well... And I just want to say something which really struck me as funny as you were talking about, Chad. How did he become mayor of New York City? That's like, what? What if he is Epstein's? And I say that tongue in cheek, but no, I mean, this has been, there's allegations or whatever that's come up. And I'm not going to push, just baseless claims. I mean, but it's kind of similar to my immediate response or, thought was Castro Trudeau,
Yeah.
Because, hey, man, I'd believe it. I mean, yeah, I do. I believe it.
Well, but the issue is
the bloodlines.
The old saying is socialism is fine until you run out of other people's money. I mean, that's just 30, 40-year-old saying.
Yeah.
I think that was Margaret Thatcher, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I do believe that's it. But, the idea is even people like Robert De Niro, who I guess lived in Manhattan,
What a great American.
Right, who supported and campaigned with him to get in. And then all of a sudden, within the first month or 6 weeks, Robert's like, I got to go move to New Jersey. I can't. I'm not going to go pay this.
I can't afford to live here anymore.
Right. So.
How are people that fucking stupid, though? I just don't understand. I'm turning a page somewhere else, and so I don't want to derail what we're talking about. But how the fuck are people so that you got tons of, forget about how much dough you have, but when people like that, like De Niro, how can you be that fucking stupid? How do you get that uninformed? Misinformation, YouTube.
Well, when he was younger, to get all those parts, he might have been at those little parties.
Could have been.
I know the people that gave him the jobs was.
Oh, damn straight, right?
Yeah. So, well, and I've said it on the show here a couple of times. I've really wrestled over the last couple of years with the idea of what is it, kind of Bob, like what you're saying, what is it to be an American? You know, and the idea is I'm coming more and more to this idea is that it's someone who wants freedom, you know, and you're right. If that's not the culture, let's say in the Middle East, if the citizens there are not of that mindset and embrace that ideal, we could help them all we want to. We could be there 10 years. How long were we in Iraq? You know, enough time to bring up a generation.
And Afghanistan.
Out, right. And we pull out and boom, you know, within weeks, months, right? It's back to the same place it was 10, 15, 20 years before.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that Muslims, especially the Muslim Brotherhood, they're all gay. They're all homosexuals. They hate women. They don't like the smell of women. They don't like the look of women. They only like boys. And the younger the boys, the better. Women are to be beaten and raped and occasionally bred. And that's it. You don't love women. Women are animals. They're property. That's the Muslim Brotherhood. And that's not the Middle East. That's just Islam. Now, you go to Egypt, it's not that way. I can promise you that. You go to Qatar, not that way. Been there. Go to Dubai, go to Emirates, it's not that way at all. But where the Muslim Brotherhood has power, they're gay. They're all homosexuals. They're raised homosexuals. And that is the bane of Christianity.
You know what, Brooks? Holy shit! And you had Bob laughing because he knows.
We always thought it was funny seeing two dudes, 300 pounds, walking down the street in their Jesus sandals, holding hands.
Yeah.
And I had an interpreter. I was fortunate. I had an interpreter, and I had an upside down E8 who was basically wearing the camouflage Air Force insignia on the chocolate chips, old BDUs, DCUs that we had. But that's how we could tell their rank with the chevrons upside down. We just called them upside down E8. And he was a Badoon, as he called it, a Bedouin. But I was talking about the bearded big dudes in Jesus sandals holding hands. I told the interpreter to this guy, I said, in America, we say that's gay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of little 8, 9, 10-year-old boys that have paid that price. And they grow up to be those hand-holding Jesus sandal wearing supposedly men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Real quick, very well said.
Which goes back to the point, don't get captured.
Don't get
That's
captured.
right.
Damn straight.
That's true. Your face will be down in the
Don't let them catch
sand.
you alive. Don't let them catch you alive. If they catch you alive, kill yourself.
Yeah.
Real quick before we continue, because this is my fault, totally my fault, and so Scotty, you can be mad at me, but he's not going to be mad. He's all cool. Scott Hare, folks, listeners, you great listeners, Scott Hare is home from the hospital.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, and that's awesome. It's been a long road, long recovery, and Scott Hare is finally home from the hospital. We're gonna get him back on the show.
That's wonderful. Good.
Yeah,
Praying for you, Scotty. You got this.
damn straight. So he's making it and all that. And I talked to Adam Earth tonight, and he's feeling good. Should be rejoin the show next Saturday Noche when it's not -9 and all this. And Brooks, I know I'm not bitching because it's colder there in North Carolina, but holy shit, it's been nonstop in the 20s here with I guess I'm a pussycat.
Yeah, it's going to be in the single digits here, and we got the better part of 10 inches of snow today.
Today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brooks sent me a picture this morning. I was like, wow.
It's a nice view. I spent the day in the carriage house. I did not even open the door. I don't even think I put shoes on.
Isn't that wonderful timing? You finished it, around Thanksgiving time or so?
Yeah.
Just up there for this time of year. And, good on you.
Oh, only a year late, but when you're building it yourself, you do as much as you can each day.
Bob, to let you know, he's saying the carriage house. Brooks has built this incredible house, and I need to, with permission from Brooks, send you pictures. It's a beautiful
In Charlotte.
Yep.
That's nice up there.
And
So how far are you from Virginia, Brooks?
About an hour and a half. Yeah, I take 40 over a little bit east and straight up either 77 or take 85 on up.
Well, how far from Greensboro?
From
Charlotte's about-
Greensboro, 90 minutes.
Yeah, hour and a half. I used to run around up there years ago. But
Yeah, it's
I got a
changed a
friend of
lot.
mine that lives in the Commonwealth, and he's a conservative guy. And, he posted something yesterday about some governor that they just elected.
Oh, Spanberger. Oh, my gosh.
really,
And he is pissed, man. Like, talking about moving.
oh wow.
Youngkin was doing a great job. I don't have any idea why the Commonwealth changed governors. And she was everybody knew what she was, and they elected her anyway.
Yeah, so Youngkin was out. He was doing a good job. That's amazing.
I don't know if Virginia has term limits on their governor, but I thought he had only served one term. Maybe he served two.
Well, here, help me out, Bob. You can help me out, Keith, and obviously, my brother, and obviously you, Brooks. I went into a panic when I was talking to my brother a number of. It was sometime last year. I say panic for bullshit purposes, but I was a little alarmed. He was like, when DeSantis is going to do something, I was like, what do you mean DeSantis is going to do something else? He's like, Chad, DeSantis already has, he can't run again. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Because I really like DeSantis as our governor. In my
Do
opinion,
you realize how close you came to Andrew Gillum?
dude,
Yeah, just a few thousand volts from a
a crackhead,
buggering crackhead.
a cheating
That's
on
the
his
thing.
wife, gay crackhead. I mean, cross-dressing? What the hell is going on? Is that okay for you, YouTube?
Teenage boys in the hotel
Well, have
room.
you seen his wife?
He woke up with a sore ass and a quarter in his hand and his own vomit in a hotel room.
That's the truth. YouTube, not misinformation.
It is
Hello,
crazy that
Governor.
we were that close. And,
Yeah.
and what a difference COVID would have been. I mean, here we're in the free state of Florida, giving, the world the example of, hey, but we didn't send armed guards out and make you wear a mask on the beach, I mean, we, for the most part, I mean, we did some precautions, but for the most part, we tried to run life as normal as we could, and it was okay. We did fine.
Well, somebody had to do it, and by God, let it be Florida, man. We may be known for a lot of things, but we'll only put up with so much bullshit.
I did find out the origin of the Florida man. If you want to know, kind of, Florida is the agencies throughout the state are the most transparent with releasing body cam footage. So you just see more shit out of Florida.
Yeah.
Because the shit happens everywhere.
Florida confuses me. I mean, I know the Panhandle, they're conservatives. I know probably Northern Florida has got its shit together. But then you look at Miami and they elect a communist as a mayor. It just
after they voted for Trump.
Mind. Yeah, it just blows my mind. I don't understand Florida.
Well, but at least Miami-Dade County voted for 47. Now, yeah, you're right. Then they turn around and vote for blah, blah, blah.
And that goes to your point, Chad. How? Why? I mean, it's not like we don't have dozens of examples of failed socialist attempts in countries and around. How stupid do you have to be? And then, like you say, we're sitting here voting in Florida and like, oh yeah, let's go back to this other failed idea. Let's give that a try again. I mean, why?
Well, let me give you this. Let's think. It was a couple of years ago. Kentucky, my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky, my home state, Kentucky, is always going to be red. But somehow the governor, that was a botched election. Something was going on there. Somehow the governor became blue when everything else is red. So there's weird shit all the time. Kentucky's never fucking blue. So I don't know. I'm just giving you one example.
All right.
Is all I'm saying of what happened in Miami.
Yeah, Kentucky's weird. I mean, they have mostly Republican congressmen, 2 Republican senators, and a Democrat governor.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the teachers union. The teachers union elects Democrat governors to protect their pensions, because the Republicans always talk about cutting government pensions in order to balance the budget in the state, and the teachers unions are dead set against that. But I will say that the teachers unions are losing members, and they're losing political power in almost every state because the parents are not happy with the schools. You look at Kentucky and Tennessee and other states, they have these enormous lotteries, enormous billions of dollars. And yet the schools are no better now than they were in the 70s.
Well, that's just a money shuffle. I mean, if you got pre-lottery, there was X amount of dollars that went to education, and now you have post-lottery. The idea is that the lottery is going to add additional money to the previous amount, but it's a shell game. All they do is they reduce over time the amount without the lottery and fill in the money from the lottery to that. And so it's basically a way to get some individuals to participate in the state and mega lotteries to pay taxes without knowing they're paying taxes, because they're buying lottery tickets.
A lottery is a tax on the poor and the stupid.
Right.
And the rest of the school budget comes from landowners.
Right. Property taxes. Good.
Just to let everyone know, if you don't hear from Bob Austin for a little bit, this was a pre-planned thing, Clarice. Bob has to go pick up his daughter, and so he's just on mute. He's still listening.
Okay. Okay.
So he's going to pick up his daughter, and then he's going to be back on the show. And here's what I can do real quick. While Bob is not here, technically not here, I want to tease this, Brooks. I'm gonna tease it. I was basically talking about it earlier. I want Bob. Bob cannot tell us about a lot of operations he's been in, okay, as a CAG operator. But what he can tell us is this one story. And I hope he does, because it's so fucking awesome. It's this one story where basically, imagine being out in the desert in Iraq in 2003, and you're in a Humvee with your first sergeant, and you guys realize, holy fuck, we're in a landmine. And what Bob did, I hope he tells the story. It's incredible what the fuck he did, because they got lost in a landmine. Yep.
I had a welder that worked for me. He was in Iraq, and he was a platoon leader, and they went out on maneuvers one night on night vision, and one of their guys got lost. They made it back to base, and they were missing this one guy. So they reached out on the radio and said, "Hey, are you out there?" He said, "Yeah, I'm out here." And they said, "Well, where are you? We'll come and get you." He said, "Okay." They said, "Well, look around. I mean, any landmarks or anything, we'll come and get you." He said, Okay. I'm under the moon now."
Nice. Now, right now.
That was good.
I went with the moon now. That reminds me, Brooks, I texted this has nothing to do with what we just said, but it just, shit reminds me. I texted Jimmy, one of my best friends. I texted him because we just joke around about JEA, which is the Jacksonville Electric Authority. We just had this running joke because it's so damn cold outside. We think, JEA controls the weather. It's an inside joke between us. I texted him and I said, I asked JEA to turn the sun on tonight instead of the moon.
That's good. Well, I thought it so interesting that they made a couple of stabs at arresting Don Lemon, and they finally got a judge that would issue the warrant.
Yeah, Keith was talking about that while I was cooking. Go ahead.
I'm happy with it. I mean, this is the deep state losing its control over the news narrative. And the other thing is that, for some reason, I'm not really sure why, I could speculate, but in Minnesota, the state police have started arresting people that are interfering with the ICE operations. And these people are being charged with federal crimes. So that's $5,000 fine, possible 8. If you touch a federal officer, it's 8 years in prison. These people are going to have a rude awakening. They're going to be ex-felons. They're going to be felons, and they're going to find out how hard it is to get a loan, to get a student loan, to buy a house, to get a job. They're screwing their entire lives up.
Over bullshit. Over their bullshit is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm glad you bring this up, Brooks, as far as with state law enforcement there, because it's, I saw a video of a certain police chief basically cowering behind his mayor and he couldn't believe what the mayor said. He made a, it's like, damn, because a police chief works for the mayor and all this. That's what, here in Jacksonville, the sheriff's office is the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
The Sheriff T.K. Waters don't answer to the fucking mayor of Jacksonville at all. And that's why every city should just have a sheriff. No chief of police who works for a mayor. But it's that's great news because law enforcement up there not backing federal law enforcement is a huge problem. You know, when the mayor's telling their local law enforcement, no, you're going to stand down. You're not going to help.
Yeah.
That's horrible, and that hurts. Listen, every person, because as far as law enforcement officers are great people, period. And even up there where that's happening, those are being told to stand down, I'm sure, are just beyond feeling neutered. I mean, but you said that, but Minnesota, the state troopers, they get to step in. There you go.
State police are starting to arrest the people that are impeding the ICE officers from making their arrests. And I thought Tom Homan did a great job in his speech. He said, look, you want us out of your neighborhoods? We don't want to be in your neighborhoods. We're not supposed to be in your neighborhoods. We're supposed to be at the jail.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be at the courtroom, picking these people up and deporting them. But because your court system is set up the way it is and you're a sanctuary state, you're letting these criminals back out of the streets. We're going to arrest them. We're going to find them.
Yeah,
and we're going to deport them.
We got to hunt them. You're making us hunt them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's your fault we're there. We don't need to be there. We need to be in the safety and security of the jail.
Right. Well, and it's taken some time, but I do think the narrative is slowly starting to make progress. That the idea is that, these federal agents are enforcing federal law that a vast majority of people support. And it's a relatively minor group, loud, organized, paid.
With their stupid whistles.
Right, that are there, misinformed, I don't know, idiots, I don't know, but the dialogue is being like, hey, listen, do you want these immigrants, illegal immigrants? Do you want them stealing all of these tax dollar monies through SNAP, through Medicaid, through child care, whatever the issues is, or do you want us to correct the issue? And there are literally 10, 20% of the country that really wants it to be fraud and corruption. But there's 60 to 70%.
And you're glossing over one thing that's paramount here, and that is that the Trump administration has deported over 800,000 Democrat registered voters.
That's huge.
That's the main thing. That's why these crowds are there. These crowds are there because they don't want ICE to deport the Democrat voters. That's why they're there. That's why these crowds are there. And man, if they were to go after Chicago and go after Boston, there'd be another 800,000 gone.
California.
Oh, don't even start on California.
New Jersey.
California's already lost 2 congressional seats. If ICE went into California and really concentrated on deporting the criminal illegals, they'd lose 2 more congressional seats. That's how many there are just in the state of California.
Right.
What you just said right there, Brooks, it's absolutely not only correct, but huge. That's the deal. That's the guy with the green lampshade on his head in the back of the room.
Hell, that's what Schumer's saying. Schumer is saying they are deporting our voters. He said it out loud.
Now watch me cook a burger on the grill.
And then you got
Schumer can't grill a burger.
Right. You got Judicial Watch going and suing and Freedom of Information Act through the court systems, cleaning up voter rolls, right? So those individuals, those people who are inactive voters or whatever, those are coming off. So
are we going to get the deceased people? You cannot take deceased people off the voter rolls.
How would they vote?
They have rights too.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. crazy. We'll see. Let's hope the midterms reflect a true vote. We got 9 months. Let's clean this stuff up now. Let's start working.
And then make it too big to rig.
And make it too big to rig.
Yeah.
Well, FBI went to Fulton County, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, seized all the 2020 ballots. We'll see what they do with them.
Brooks, let me ask you this, and I'm asking you too, Keith. I'm not just asking one of you. I'll ask both of you. I'm making myself laugh, but anyway, Keith, don't be
I love questions.
Questions have answers. That's why I love questions too, because they have answers. There is before I ask this question, Brooks, me as a fan of all kinds of music, I can play Haydn. I love some good Haydn as far as classical music, all this. There's a band called Highly Suspect, and they are a great rock band, fairly new, only around since 2015, which is, in rock terms, is you guys are new and you're good, But they have a line in one of their songs, questions have answers. And so I love it that you say that. And now please remind me of my question.
We were talking about midterms.
Yes.
Oh.
There you go. So there's my question, Brooks. Thank you, Keith. I will never, ever do the show without Keith as my sidekick to remind me of the shit that I forget.
Cat's claw, my man.
When I go,
I'm gonna start giving you some
I don't
cat's
need
claw.
cat's claw. It's just I go off on little avenues here and there, and I'm always going to find my way back. Cat's claw, though, folks. Yeah, you should take cat's claw. Everyone should take cat's claw. I told Keith about cat's claw. I wish you would effing take it on a regular basis.
Don't get us banned tonight.
Oh yeah. Cat's claw, folks, has nothing to do with anything. Don't worry about cat's claw.
It tastes good. It's like
less
candy.
filling.
It's candy.
It does nothing for you. Don't worry. Cat's claw does nothing whatsoever for you other than good stuff. So go get some cat's claw and and blah blah blah, and you figure it out. So the midterms. I spoke to someone, and I need to be very careful here. I spoke to someone last night who is in their opinion, which I respect their opinion. We're the Republicans are going to lose the House and the Senate completely. It's a fucking graveyard, and the thing is, this guy is basically. It blows my mind because he's on our side. And I just don't see that. I see the country woke up. The country's going in a different direction. I don't think the country's going to do a 360, not a 180, a 360 and just say, yes, socialism.
Well, we just talked about Virginia, though, and the previous governor, Youngkin, and the new lady who within 48 hours has basically made New York.
That's New York. That's Virginia. Virginia's always, it's the home of the Navy SEALs, but other than that, it doesn't make sense because it's the home of the Navy SEALs as far as
it's the two counties in the Commonwealth of Virginia that control the entire state. It's basically the civil war that's going on in that state. Youngkin happened to do really well in those two counties, and that's why he won. But Spanberger, I honestly don't know how she won. For her first law that she signed was outlawing the hand counting of ballots in the state. So in answer to your question, how could the Democrats take the midterms? It isn't the voting. It's the counting of the votes.
Yep.
It's the counting of the votes. It's creating and inserting counterfeit ballots into the voting systems. And if you look at the states that we're having problems with right now, with all these riots and demonstrations, these are the same exact states that shut down their votes in the middle of the night and inserted counterfeit ballots into their system. Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota. These are the same states that shut down their vote in the middle of the night and inserted counterfeit ballots. And the only way to stop it is to shut down that counterfeit ballot network. Now, yes, some of it comes out of Venezuela, but a lot of it is AI run by Chinese software. What they do is they stop the vote, they stop the counting of the vote, they figure out how many ballots they need. The AI prints the ballots with the people's names, addresses, and phone numbers, and on signatures and everything, and their votes, which takes time. It takes 3 to 6 hours to get that printed, depending on how many they need. Get them on pallets, get them to the precinct where they're counted, and feed them through the machines. And that's how they steal the elections. We've known about this for 6 years. I've spoken to at least one attorney general face to face in front of 200 people, and they admit this is how they're doing it. And I said, well, let's put a stop to it. How about you terminate or don't count mail-in ballots? Don't count mail-in ballots unless there's less than a 1% difference in the vote. If there's less than 1% difference in the vote, then you count the mail-in ballots. But that will short circuit a lot of this fraud. They'll have to find another way to get the fake ballots into the system besides the mail-in ballots. And there's a lot of ways to do this, but it boils down to these. Well, there are actually 15 states that contracted with a nonprofit called Common Cause. I found out about it because Colorado was the 15th state, and it triggered something in my network, and I did some investigation, and I discovered Common Cause. Common Cause is extremely well-funded, foreign-controlled NGO, and they had contracted with 15 states that they would stop their count and that they would manipulate their vote depending on who was winning the popular vote. That's what it basically boiled down to. Well, 6 of them decided to change the vote by inserting the counterfeit ballots. And that's how they stole the 2020 election. And I revealed it in April of 2020. 6 months before the election, I went public with it. Yep. 6 months before the election, and they still did it.
Yeah.
Well, what did Biden get? 81 million votes, and Obama got 66 million. So,
yeah,
I mean, you're going to tell me that Joe Biden got 15 million, 30% more votes than Barack Obama? I mean,
during a period that Trump added more Republican registered voters than any Republican president in history.
Than ever. Yeah. That somehow happened because we let me just say this real quick, because I was bringing this up to you, Brooks, and you're answering and all this. I do not, once again, I've been saying this for a while, obviously, the MSM and its controllers of the mainstream media, its controllers, which we know is, certain people who control the MSM. It's a campaign to say as much as they can to the American people that that they're going to lose the midterms, that MAGA is going to lose the midterms, blah, 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 blah. And I've been saying it over and over again that it's bullshit. And Keith and I think you agree with me, Keith. And I think you. So, listen, I want to give a shout out. I don't know if he wants me to because he's listening. We'll just do it this way the next time, man, because I know you just texted me, and we'll see if you want me to give you a shout out the next time. But a certain person and great friend and all this, he's listening to the show. You'll have to let me know if you want me to mention your name, dude, next time. But great friend. I love him like a brother, and maybe we'll hear from him a little bit more. He said the MAGA Civil War and let's see, exactly. The MAGA Civil War and dissatisfied Trump voters is completely fake, a total psyop.
Oh yeah,
I
don't think
believe
there
that.
is I don't think there is a MAGA civil war.
No, there's not. It's a total psyop. I agree. That's what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, I don't think there is a MAGA civil war. I really don't. I believe that even Trump has more loyal followers now than he had a year ago.
Yeah.
But they got to get out and vote.
Yeah, you remember, when we were talking in 2018, we were talking about the red wave. We thought this red wave was going to happen, and it didn't. And Pelosi stole the gavel back in Congress, and the rest is the shit show from history.
Right.
So
the Adam Schiff show. Yep.
yeah, we cannot allow that to happen again. We just cannot allow the Democrats to get anywhere close to those gavels. They've already said what they're going to do.
Yes.
They're gonna go after ICE agents individually and hold them up on war crimes. They're going to pack the court. They're going to end the filibuster and pass everything that they want, and they're going to impeach as fast as they can. Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, everybody. They're going to take down the whole cabinet. And honestly, there's a faction of this country that wants that to happen, but that's not MAGA. MAGA doesn't want that to happen. And I firmly believe that in this next year, because of America 250, which I'm wearing the commemorative hoodie tonight, and the fact that President Trump's going to be in every single state at least twice a month for the next 8 months, I think he's going to be on the ballot big time. And I think we're going to have a huge turnout. And I think the Democrats are going to lose seats in the Senate. They're going to lose seats in the House.
Damn straight.
And then we end the filibuster and we go to town.
Damn straight. I think that's what was being said in this text. And once again, you know that I love you. I just don't know if you want me to say anything, and we need to talk outside, privately. But the thing is, that's the deal, and that's what I've been trying to reiterate a little bit here and there over the past number of months. With seeing this as he said, a psyop, it is. He worded it better than I did.
Well, I mean, in the book, I talk about the Global Syndicate. The Global Syndicate's made up of 4 main divisions, and one of them I call the global media empire.
Yep.
It used to be vast. It used to be enormous, but then it got condensed down to 9 owners. 9 owners, what we used to call the mainstream media. And they get one script. They get one script. ABC, NBC, Disney, they get one script, and that's what they read all day, all night. That's what they pound us with. But the good news is they are no longer the mainstream media. We are. We're the mainstream media. We have more listeners by far than the global media empire, and they hate it. They hate it. And if they ever get the chance, they're going to deplatform us all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll start once again. Who did they deplatform first off? Obviously, Alejandro Jones. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
And everybody laughed. Oh, yeah, we're so glad they got rid of that nutbag, Alex Jones. I said, you guys are idiots. Because if they can take him down, they can take you down in a second. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. And then what has happened is when they jettisoned Tucker from Fox, what happened? Well, Tucker's bigger now than he was on Fox. And who's his first guest? Alejandro Jones, to talk about 9/11 being an inside job. They have lost control. They have lost control. The MSM, the globalists, the New World Order, the global syndicate has lost control, and they're in a panic, and it's beautiful.
Well, it's also scary because they don't like losing, and they do historically drastic things.
Yes.
In order to, what they basically say.
But we
is,
have to go there, Brooks. We have to go there in order to win.
Well, they say if it is not enough to win, all others must lose.
But for us to win, we have to walk through that fire knowing that these crazed, caged effing wolves, that's why we howl on them every Saturday night. They're
for us to win, we can't follow Romans. We have to follow James, which is faith without works is dead. So you could be a believer, my friends, but you must act.
Yes.
You have to get out and vote.
I agree. That's what we said is and maybe the word's complacency. Maybe we say, hey man, we got 47 back in the office and things are going good, and the federal government has shut down the borders, and we're addressing corruption and fraud and all that, and you get complacent, and then like you say, that leads to a really bad spot.
Oh, it does. I mean, look what happened in 2020. Trump told us what would happen if Biden gets back in. He's going to throw open the borders, and millions of people are going to go pouring over the border, and they're going to take everything. And that's exactly what they freaking did. And we still did not go vote. We still didn't make it too big to rig in 2020.
Yep.
We did in 24, but we need to do it again in 26.
Yes. And 2028. This isn't going to get cleaned up in 3 years.
No, that's a great point, Keith. It's not a 3-year cleanup. This is
I don't think the Democrats are going to be able to raise a candidate in 3 years. They have no bench. The only thing
Pete
they
Buttigieg.
have,
Come on,
Mayor Pete
Brooks.
The only thing they have is terrorism. That's the only thing they have, is they can hit us so hard and so broad in so many cities that people just say, fuck it. I can't take the battle anymore. Like what did the guy say in Matrix? I don't want to know. I don't want to know that it's fake. I just want to go back in.
He wants the blue pill.
I just give me the blue pill again. Yeah, they don't like to be free. They don't want to be free. They want to kneel. They want to have everything handed to them.
That's the psychology of well, once again, and I stand firm. Brooks, I think you've agreed with me, and I think you do, Keith. I think people are wired in a certain way. Certain people are wired. You can be a totally upstanding individual and intelligent. You're a sentient being, all this jazz, but you look at the Pentagon West Wall footage and you're like, yeah, that was American 77 that went in the Pentagon. It was like, no, it's not. They do not have the faculties to not accept official stories. They're just wired differently. No, that was a Boeing 757. That was American 77 that went into the West Wall of the Pentagon, even though I don't see it happening, because I was told it happened, so I'd accept that, plain and simple. Colloidal silver doesn't work. Ivermectin doesn't work because my doctor, my GP, tells me
YouTube told us that was misinformation.
it's misinformation. It's- good job, Keith. It's just some people are wired that way. Plain and simple. They'll go die because their oncologist told them you're going to die. And they won't try anything like apricot seeds, YouTube, vitamin B17, YouTube. So certain people are wired differently, I guess. So they'll just. I think you're with me. I think Keith is with me on this. Certain people you cannot wake up. You just can't wake them up.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to their head. We
real
talked to
pills.
them, for instance, about Ivan and Roxy and fenbendazole. Yeah. And if they've had the jab, something happens to their head. They just cover their ears and stomp their feet and la, 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 and they do not want to hear it. They don't want to hear that they made a wrong decision and that they thought they already got the cure. And they're convinced that they got the cure and they're dying. The statistics are, I have a friend who's an insurance actuary. That's the person that figures out how many people are going to die by electric toothbrushes and blah, 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 and all that. He said, Brooks, did you know that 30% of Generation Z is dead?
Yep.
I was like, what the hell? We haven't had any wars. Well, what do you mean they're dead? He said, they're dead. They died of blood clots, myocarditis, heart attacks. They're dead.
Well,
That's a mind blower.
That's incredible.
That's why we need more.
Better than horse paste.
Yeah, there's Bob Austin.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back, Booby.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, horse paste, right?
Horse
Got to have that
dewormer.
emergency. Got to have that emergency rollout of this COVID. We can't be trusting no horse paste. Horse dewormer. Yeah.
Yeah, but people eat horse food. Quaker Oats is horse food.
Yeah. Booby, welcome back. I told him you popped out and you popped back in. There you are.
Well, Linda got off down there at the dude shop after happy hour, and I'd had to give her a ride back to the house.
That's what every good dad does.
That's right.
It was nickel night at the
Oh, nickel night.
it was nickel night at the whorehouse, right?
Yeah, females eat drink for free long necks until 9 p.m. Right.
What's that joke, Bob? It was Ross Perot that put that out. Is he still with us? Is Ross Perot still around?
I think he's still alive.
No, Ross?
Ross Perot?
No, he's passed on.
Did he? I don't. I'm gonna check that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. I trust you, but I'm going to verify.
I voted for him in '92.
Like Ronald Reagan
I did
says,
too.
trust and verify.
Yeah. Well, you can always trust Booby Austin.
There you go.
I voted for Ross Perot, Ron Paul.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've met Ross Perot. He's a Naval Academy graduate. I'll be honest, he's not very impressive.
Right.
But I guess I probably would have voted for him, except I thought his VP candidate was his,
I forget
Who did
who.
he have? Stocks? Who did he get?
he had Stockton, the prisoner.
Stockdale.
Yeah,
I was in grade school.
yeah.
He was a general, wasn't he?
Ooh,
I couldn't vote.
he might have been an admiral.
Admiral, that's what it was, right?
You are correct.
Saturday Night Live did a spoof on him one night. They had a guy look just like him, and he just would break out and say, "Gridlock." It was funny.
He died July 2019. So
Yeah.
6
yeah,
years.
it's been a minute.
You were right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right, good for you
never
guys.
doubt Bob Austin. Okay.
Hey,
That guy can fucking. You could be looking up, shaving in the mirror, and that's the last thing you see.
Did I suddenly start speaking Portuguese?
So Ross Perot, I was just going to say, 2020, that whole joke, he tweeted, I haven't been on, now it's X, but I haven't been on Twitter in years, but he put out a tweet after 2012, and he said that election was hotter than a nickel night on in a whorehouse.
Yeah, he was a man of the people. Now, I mean, I think he did the best, as a third party candidate at that point.
Yeah.
Everybody said that's what got Clinton elected, but then again, look, we know Daddy Bush and them they're not good people.
They're all the same people.
Hey, Clinton might have been better than the Bushes. Who knows?
They're all the same people.
I'm sure they've got equal body counts,
Yeah.
Just the Clintons were more public.
I got a higher body count than both of them, but mine is in love. That's the difference in the body count.
Well, the one thing about Clinton is he was clearly focused on the chicks and the money.
Yeah.
And it allowed a smart guy like Newt Gingrich to get his contract with America up and running. And that's what saved this country.
Right.
Only 2 years we ever had a balanced budget
Right.
in modern times is under Newt Gingrich.
Yep. Hey, Booby. So you were probably listening. Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna kill me if I ask you to tell the story? The only story you can tell.
Chad, that lieutenant that was with me then, he retired a full bird, and he's up there in the Pentagon, has been doing but it's a damn good story. It's a lot of
It is, man. It's it's a great story. There's no reason you're not outing anybody.
Change the names to protect the guilty.
Well, I'll be honest. It was my first deployment, and I got picked to be the BSO's driver, and picked up a brand new Humvee in theater. Checked out, had 3 kilometers on it when I got it, and anyway, make a long story short, I guess, are you talking about the mines?
Yeah, the minefield. Yeah.
Okay, so we had a pretty good little relationship, me and the BSO, and to a degree, there was some personality conflicts to a degree, and he was I can't even, man, see, I'm going to get myself in trouble, man. I don't.
Bob, you can do it, dude. It's just.
Yeah, well, you've heard, I don't know, at least in the Army, or probably Marines, said lieutenants always lost and stuff, well, he's the tactical commander. I'm just driving in a desert and no visuals. There's nothing. It's like being on the surface of the moon. Everywhere you look, there's no trees. There's very, very few, any type of, it all looked the same to me. That's just being honest, and I'm going, 55 miles an hour hauling butt in this. Anyway, we end up, finally, I just stopped, man. Like, we're lost, sir.
We're lost, sir.
And I've got a first sergeant in the back and 3 privates from Charlie. Anyway, we're lost. He gets out. He's got his map and his lensatic compass, and next thing you know, he's standing outside the door, of the Humvee on his side. He starts jumping up and down like the Toyota commercial back in the 70s or early 80s. Just jump. And then he throws his compass into the front tire, which ricochets off into the sand, buried. Just like that. I mean, he threw it hard. It went down hard. It was lost. I mean, straight up. It was. And he looks at me and says, give me your compass. But this was my compass that I got at PLDC, so I'm like, hold on now. You just threw a perfectly good compass. Anyway, he gets on the radio, he gets out his, calls the TOC, and that's where we were headed to. And Tactical Operations Center, the brains of the battalion operation that we're in. And calls the TOC, and they're like, sir, didn't you get the overlay? Well, an overlay, is a transparency that goes over the map that you can, kind of like dry erase thing. You know what I'm saying? You can see your map. They're like, y'all are in a minefield. And the first sergeant back there in the back, he was what you call a garrison soldier. He was I'm not going to talk about any of that. But he starts crying, like bawling, crying, like I've never seen a man do that before. We all heard the transmission, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's got is thinking some kind of way about how they ended up in this situation. And and it was actually a moment for me where, well, the senior non-commissioned officers really had a lot to live for, a lot of regrets. There's something going through his mind, and he's no help. The BISO is telling me to drive, and I'm just, nah. So I went walking, took my cigarettes, and took about a 3-cigarette walk. And till I found tracks, and I came back to where my tracks were until I found other tracks. And then I made sure my front wheel was running right over my footprints. Now, I don't know about the passenger side, but I mean, but I drove, and yeah, man, that was a pretty good. And I could go into more detail, but that's all I really want to. I mean, it was a pretty. And those privates thanked me when we finally got to the top, because I let them out of the back of the Humvee. I had a high back, and young bucks, and we all, here's the thing. Have you ever, with psychology, experience to meaning, is the philosophy. People share the same experience, same experience, and what does it mean? And it'll mean something different to everybody.
Yeah.
But I know there for a brief period of time, there was 1, 2, 3 of them, or there's 4 in the back. So six individuals, different ranks, different parts of the country, and here we are overseas in a minefield. And what did it mean? And yeah, that was a pretty.
But Boop, you walked them out of the minefield. That's the point.
And I didn't have a choice, did you?
No one else is doing anything, so you walked a path and came back and said, "Okay, we can drive this way."
That's exactly what happened.
If you think about it, all he's doing is he's walking the minefield to find a path out, so he's going to blow his ass up to save these guys who won't do anything. That's how they got out. He walked the path out, found it, then and then walked all the way to fuck back. And that's why he said that it's my 3-cigarette walk.
It could be my last, but I wasn't thinking trying to be some kind of hero. Not at all. I had a son that was a month old back in Georgia. So yeah,
that's a great story, and
it's a great story.
And the idea is the listeners who aren't who let's say maybe are a little bit younger, you know, when they talk about what servicemen do, my time in the Navy doesn't anywhere compare to that. You know, I mean, we lost some sailors on the Saratoga for, you know, a ferry tipped over and, you know, about 21 people died, you know, drowned and that type of stuff. But, you know, there are a lot of Americans that have sacrificed, and some have given it all. And, you know, and so thank you. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you for what you've done. And, you know, it is appreciated by a lot of us. And for those that don't understand, hopefully you grow up, you mature, and you recognize what some people have done before you to give you the opportunity to be free.
Well, it was always an honor for me to be in the Army. I loved it. It was, you know, once you get over the, the military's the military, you know, and good stuff.
Well, listen, Bob. Of course, Bob is Bob, as most people know, Bob Austin, and what, you know, who he is and all this. But the fact is that Bob Austin's on the show tonight. We'll just say Army, not everything else, right? Bob Austin's on the show tonight, Army. Brooks Agnew, Dr. Brooks Agnew is on the show tonight, Air Force. And Keith Temple is on the show tonight, Navy. You got a trifecta, guys.
We had a Coastie and a Jarhead on here. We'd have the whole thing. Oh, Space Force.
I'm going to go join the Marines real quick. Hold on.
Do y'all know of Nick Freitas? Have you heard of him? He's like a state representative in Virginia.
No.
He's got a beard. He looks like the dad from, what was that? Outer Banks. I don't know if you've seen the Outer Banks TV series or whatever. But he's special forces, yes. And he was talking about it was Veterans Day, and he's basically saying congratulations, all the branches, and he went individually, and he said, and Space Force, I'm paraphrasing obviously here. Space Force, I know you're probably a little upset. You don't have any battle streamers or anything yet. You ain't got a lot to hang your head on, but trust me, when the time comes and you do get a battle streamer, I'm sure it's going to be fucking epic.
That's fucking awesome. Wow.
Well, and we laugh, but the truth is, who knows? A few years down the road, they may be a big part of the new Battlefront. Who knows?
Yeah.
Have you noticed, like with something happened the other day. The Epstein files and stuff. People were talking about comparing it to, and Chad, me and we've all talked about it, I'm sure, Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
As far as Epstein's relationship there.
Stanley Kubrick. Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick, who had Chad, directive rights to that movie. Like they couldn't edit anything that he didn't approve of.
Yep.
And they killed him 4 days after that. He said no. And then they cut 28 minutes out of the movie. Is it 28 or 24?
Yeah,
minutes out of the movie.
24. Everyone should see Eyes Wide Shut. Holy hell.
And what was missing? What was cut out? And there was one of the actors, there was an actor and one of his proteges or whatever, and he was like, well, it's missing the narration. Stanley would have had a narration in this, and you could, bottom line, what they cut out was the Oh man, I don't even want to say these things, man.
That was a freaky movie anyway.
Well, the baby eating, yeah, that's what they cut out.
Yep. Yep.
So, and by the way, that's come out in the Epstein files, just released yesterday.
Wow.
Kubrick was phenomenal, and as a filmmaker, obviously, but he put so many clues. Eyes Wide Shut was all about the Bohemian Grove and the global syndicate, Brooks. As you know, the New World Order, the whole big time Bohemian Grove jazz, and the whole order of things, and what he did with a lot of films, even in The Shining. He put in The Shining, he put big clues into the moon landings. He put big clues in there.
Well, yeah, he filmed the moon landing, didn't he?
There you go.
What was that? Unicorn One? Was that? Who was the director of that movie? And of course, I was 15 when that came out or so, and I like, what the hell is this all about? But it means a lot
It's
more.
watching the landing craft take off from the booster, and they're like, does that look like it boosted? That looks like it got pulled straight up by a rope.
Well, this is Bob, I'm a high school math teacher. It's my profession.
He doesn't jump out of airplanes like you, Bob.
Yeah, no. But
I took college algebra 3 times. Go ahead, sir.
and about this. But one of the things, I got about another year or 2 in the classroom, I think, I hope. And one of the things I'm going to do with this show and such is I'm going to make a series of different educational videos, and I want to talk about how complicated the math is and what needs to occur to do what they say. And it's clear. And that movie with Matt Damon, The Martian, that I used to show that to my physics classes, and just all of the math involved with that issue. All of that had to go on with the Apollo moon landings, and I'm very skeptical. I'm gonna be extremely mild about it. I'll say I'm extremely skeptical of some things.
Brooks, you're the physicist here.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think about the moon landings?
I think they happened. The reason that we were able to do it with very little computing is because we had pilots that could fly. And when you got a human in the can and they've spent years landing those things in all kinds of conditions, it's pretty easy to land on the moon. Everything's in slow motion, and it's pretty easy to take off. And we know that when they exhausted the fuel, they had just finished putting a bunch of seismometers on the surface, and they'd been trained for 9 months about placing accelerometers on the moon so that they could monitor any kind of tremors or anything that would happen on the moon. And when they took off, the aluminum can that held the fuel got exhausted, and they dropped it when they got to about 20,000 feet. And so that can dropped back to the moon with no atmosphere to slow it down. It was going pretty good at 32 feet. Well, not 32 feet per second, but about 16 feet per second. And when it hit the surface, the seismometers picked up the impact. They knew that was going to happen. What they didn't know was going to happen is that it oscillated for almost 2 minutes. So it hit the ground, but then it echoed for 2 minutes, and you could see the vibrations on the seismometer. That's what they didn't understand. So the moon appeared to be hollow at that point. It wasn't just like a big thud. It was like it rang like a bell, and that they did not expect. So it was an interesting piece of data. That and everybody else that's flown around the moon with high resolution cameras since then has photographed all of our equipment sitting on the ground, right where we left it.
Here's my thing. I always say, Brooks, is it's more frustration. It's like, all right, damn it, we went to the moon. Okay, fuck a duck. If that's the case, cool. I'm almost in just out of kindergarten and shit, and you look up at the sky and what happens? Not the Columbia, Challenger explodes. Why did we orbit the after going to the moon willy-nilly, landing, coming back over and over again? Why did we orbit the Earth? Is what I mean. For 30 years in a space shuttle. We should have, after we went to the moon, we should have been to Mars like decades ago.
Yeah, that's always confusing that we continue to put people in space, but we didn't take anybody else to the moon. Honestly, we really didn't have a reason to go. It wasn't until the LCROSS mission in 2006. In 2006, we launched a rather large spectrometer to orbit the moon for a few years. And it was sampling the atmosphere of the moon. The moon doesn't have much atmosphere, but it has some. And it was going to be sampling that atmosphere. Well, a few months after going into orbit, it had a leak and it ran out of fuel. So it did not have the ability to speed up again and keep itself in orbit. So the orbit was going to decay and it was going to smash into the moon. Well, when we build these things, I used to be at GPL and Caltech. When we build these things, we build them in sections and we put exploding bolts to hold those sections together so that if we launch it and something goes wrong and it's going to crash back to Earth, we can blow it into smaller pieces by exploding the bolts, and then the smaller pieces burn up in the atmosphere. So the problem got worked. Okay, we're out of fuel. The whole thing's going to decay and fall into the moon. Let's go ahead and break it in two. We'll separate the rocket body from the spectrometer part, and we'll let the rocket body fall to the surface well ahead of the spectrometer and let it hit the surface and make a big dust plume. And then we'll fly the spectrometer through the dust and we'll measure everything and send the information to Earth before it splats into the moon. So that's what they did. This is 2006 now. So they dropped the rocket body and it lands in a crater, and we could see the plume from Earth, but there wasn't enough light coming through it so we could measure spectrographically what that plume was made of. So we were totally relying on the spectrometer. The spectrometer flies through the dust, gathers all the information it can in 30 minutes, and sends it to Earth. We get all that information, and then the spectrometer lands into the crater as well. Well, that information came back, and we found out that the crater held in it enough water and enough helium-3, frozen helium-3, to power Earth for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Without any radiation. Yeah, helium-3 fusion has never been done before. We've done helium-3 with deuterium and tritium, and it's cold fusion. We don't get any energy back out of it. We just build molecular weight, which is kind of academic. In fact, it was academic. What we really wanted was hot fusion. We wanted to bond two helium-3 molecules together to make helium-4, which is what we fill our party balloons with. But it also kicks off two protons, which are electricity. That's electricity. And a ton of heat, which keeps the reaction going. Without radiation, no energetic neutrons at all. So now the race from 2006 till now, 20 years, the race has been to get back to that crater and mine that thing. and get the helium-3 to fuse. Well, we built more tokamaks on the Earth than I can count, trying to fuse helium-3, which we can gather around volcanoes. We don't have much of it here on our planet. And we haven't been able to do it because we have two challenges. One is we have to evacuate all the air out of the tokamak, which takes a while and a lot of energy. And we have to control the plasma. We can't let the plasma touch the walls of the tokamak because it will just destroy it. And we have to fight gravity to do that, Earth's gravity. But if we do it on the moon, we have less gravity and no atmosphere, and we could make a bottle much smaller, about the size of a refrigerator, and we could make a fusion reactor. And once we build a fusion reactor, we now have fusion rocketry, and we have fusion for energy here on this planet. Once we do it on the moon, we can do it on the Earth. And that's what the race is right now. That's why in a few days, we're going to launch people for the first time in a long time out to the moon and do the same thing we did the Artemis 1. This is Artemis 2. We're going to go around the moon, 40,000 miles further than the moon and back to Earth with 4 people in that craft. It's not going to land on the moon, but it's going to go around the moon. And then those people will have running all kinds of experiments during that 10-day mission. But we hope that once they're through the Van Allen radiation belt, they can get through it and back through it without any ill effects.
Which would
This
prove,
mission
will
determine if we can go to the moon in 2027 with people. And that's going to be a really, really complex mission because Starship is going to land on the moon, but Orion is going to take the astronauts to Starship orbiting the moon.
Is Musk doing this, or who's doing this?
Well, Musk is doing the Starship. NASA's doing the Orion. It's called the Gateway Project.
Okay.
If that's successful, we will begin moving equipment to the moon. And that equipment's going to be robots, kilowatt generators, habitats, drilling equipment. And it's going to take a few years to get all the equipment up there, get the robots to put the equipment together and assemble it, and then we move people up. So we're looking at 5 to 15 years for a lunar colony.
So we'll have X-wing fighters by then too, probably.
Unfortunately, you can't turn like an X-wing fighter in space. To change direction like an X-wing fighter, it would splat you on the side of the glass. So all the fighting in space is going to have to be done with drones.
Listen,
Well, how far away do you think we really are from that?
Well, it depends. If private industry gets involved, it'll happen really fast, like 10 times faster than if governments do it. Look how long it's taken to build Orion. I sat in Orion in 2011. 2011, I sat in Orion. It's been together that long, and this is the first time we're putting people in it in space.
I must be like completely under a rock or in a cave, but I've heard absolutely, and you say that this is supposed to launch?
Artemis 2 launches on the 6th. It's a 10-day mission.
And where and how? I mean,
Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. You have to go to space.com. You can read all about it. I talk about it on my program, but that's how I know so much about it. I've been associated with JPL and Caltech since, I don't know, the 70s. So a long, long time.
surely haven't heard anything in the general public issue, and I thought I was pretty, I thought I was pretty well informed, but boy, never know, hear what you.
Do you believe any of Bob Lazar's?
You know, I've been involved in some way or another with the space industry for close to 50 years. In fact, I first talked about asteroid mining in 1968. That's a long time.
Oh my.
I don't have any evidence that there are off-world craft or off-world races here on this planet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that doesn't exist.
And I've begged for it, and I've been out on the lecture circuit for a long, long time, and no one has ever brought me a bolt, a screw, a photograph, a fingernail, anything. I have begged for it my entire life, and I've never seen anything but
Well,
blurry
when they hit
pictures.
you with that pin, with that little light, a Men in Black reference there, you know.
Yeah.
You forget all that. I didn't see nothing.
And the neuralizer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, I thought in the 2001 press club meeting that Stephen Greer did, I thought it was going to change everything. These people are all willing to testify before Congress, and nothing happened. Nothing. Since 2001, zero. And you get guys like Grush and up there talking to Congress. They need to talk to me. They need to talk to me. They need to talk to Mike Barrow. Get the real experts up there, and don't talk to people like Grush or Greer or these people that have been grifting in this industry for 30 years.
Oh, well, well, shit. I need to apologize to Sean Ryan. Because I had Stephen Greer on in 2009, and Sean Ryan, once he shifted his show, this is before Sean Ryan became huge, he was on our show before anyone knew who the fuck Sean Ryan was. But I had a call with Sean and Katie, his wife, and they were asking me for guests because they're going to shift and do a different thing than just, CBQ, teaching people CBQ and how to shoot and all this. And I was like, well, I can give you this guy and this guy and this person. And Brooks, you probably remember, because I was trying to tell them to get you on. They chose Stephen Greer, and he had Stephen Greer on.
I've met him. I spent a week with him.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer.
The only thing about Stephen Greer with me is this: he came on the show and he didn't want to take phone calls. And back in the day, we this was a terrestrial show, which it was phone call driven. I mean, all this, and he finally took phone calls, and then he was happy because everyone was very, very inquisitive and supportive of asking about his work.
Yeah, the whole CE5 protocol, the book that he wrote, and believe me, I spent many hours speaking with him, and I know things about him I will never say in public, but I'm not a believer. And the sad thing is, I think there are a lot of sincere people in this industry who may have had experiences, who may have had evidence, who may have seen things covered up. But once they got associated with Greer, they were discredited. And I think that's the reason he's out there.
Well, Chad, we're in a quandrum here. Do you know how to sign off? Because our technology...
Yeah. We do have to get out of here. But, no, I don't.
Tony! Tony,
Well, I can't do it from the carriage house.
Tony had to. Tony has to. He's
he
coming
had to
back.
go take care of the fishes.
Yeah, he's got a aquaponics thing going, and he had to make sure the fish didn't die.
Yeah.
That sounds like we're giving you some really deep, dark fucking shit, but it's the truth.
That's straight up the truth.
That's not code.
You're right. It's not code. I can press the red button.
No,
I won't do it yet.
Don't you do it, Mr. Lieutenant Keith Dipple.
I'm not till you tell me to, buddy.
I don't know. He should have told us. He should have told us how to shut the show the fuck off.
Oh, Lord.
If he's not going to be back, I don't know who the hell I'm calling right now. I'm trying to call him, and anyway, whatever. It's an extended show. It's all cool in the game.
There you go.
Bottom line, I do want to put a finishing bow on this, if there is any finishing bow. Bob Austin has been on tonight. Holy fuck.
Nice to meet you.
For the first time since last.
Guys, for real.
For the first.
I was going to say, in the last, if it comes down to it, we got 3 military groups here, 3 branches represent. And last, pull the plug. Just pull the plug, unplug it.
There you go.
Bob, speak again a little bit. You're breaking up.
Pull the plug.
There you go. No, Bob, it's awesome having you on. It's the first time you've been on the show since April of last year. That was a great night, and it was. I can't talk about everything, but you were on with me and Adam and Kayla. You know, Kayla made her first full show appearance. All that shit.
Yeah, that was a good night.
Yeah. We had arguments about crystals versus White Castles. Yeah, that was. I remember everything, Bob. Don't you ever question me, Bob?
Man, you got that elephant memory, man.
Listen, this bat has sharper radar than a Nautilus. I tell you, Brooks, you want to go for 5 hours tonight?
No, I can't do that.
I guess what we can do is Keith, if you and Bob and Brooks converse amongst yourselves, and I'll see if Tony's coming around.
Okay, we can do that. We got it. And I think Bob has the right ideas that essentially we can get over there and turn the computer off. I mean, I'm sure that there's I'm sure we can exit the program and do that. I just don't know if there's something to do in the sign-off process or anything. So, but Bob, it's been wonderful meeting you. I'm glad I've heard your name a lot. I'm glad that you've listened, and it's been a great conversation tonight, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was great, Keith. Nice meeting you, too. And Dr. Brooks Agnew, I appreciate this, man.
I think you said it, Bob, that, there's part of this Saturday evening issue that's therapeutic for us. You know, we have great guests, and I enjoyed it. It's a big part of my rhythm, part of my weekly routine, and I think we're in a really prime time in our history, right? And, I mean, we've talked about midterm elections coming up in 8-9 months or so. And we'll see how that turns out, and we'll be here no matter how it turns out, you know?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right, I just buzzed Tony in. He's locked out of the gate of the parking garage. I got him in.
Tony is entering the premises.
There you go. He'll be here in 3 to 5 minutes then.
Anybody got eyes on Tony?
There you
Hey.
go.
Keep eyes on Tony at all times. He had to take care of the fish, the aquaponics jets.
Yeah, we don't get down to the mid-20s, low 20s too often here in Northeast Florida. I told you driving in, I think I saw a few little snow flurries on my drive in tonight, and I didn't think it was supposed to get that bad until tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yeah, I heard reports in Jacksonville of flurries.
Yeah. And we'll see. Surely there are. Chad was talking about.
Brooks is up there just laughing like flurries. You saw a couple of snowflakes.
But Brooks is like, fuck you guys.
We got 10 inches today, and we got 10 millimeters, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe.
I think it was Charlotte. Y'all had a bad wreck tonight or this afternoon or something.
Yeah, there was several.
Your car pile up or something.
Yeah, 100 car pileup.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's,
Jeez.
man, we ought to put our brains together, figure out. But that's just it, is, you're going 60 miles an hour.
In
Some
that type of
people-
weather, you gotta
Yeah, 70 miles an hour, but I'll say 60 miles an hour, and momentum. I mean, you get those 18-wheel trucks, or even residential cars. They're not going to stop on ice, but they're going to slide for half a mile, and that's what happens. Hey, he's in the house. We've been saying we didn't know how to shut off, but Tony made it.
That is bottom line overall. You know that kind of type of weather is coming, and some people I understand you have to be on the road here and there, but geez Louise, 100 car pileup is like, did that many people have to be on the road? I mean, that's a lot of. I don't know.
Just think of the logistics to clean that up.
Think if
And
you're
the-
the car insurance person trying to run that report, I mean, who hit who, when, and
Well, how many state troopers are taking care of that accident? That's who's you working this? I'm about to get off. I get off at 8 in the morning. I don't. Do you want to take this? Overtime. Brooks, I have to tell you, and Bob Austin, this is historic for this show. After it gets banned on YouTube, it's historic not because of that. It's historic that you and that Bob Austin and Dr. Brooks Agnew are on the show for the first time when you've both been on the show since 2009. So that's too
It's
cool.
true.
I
It's
know,
true.
right? I've listened to Brooks. I've listened to Keith. Wow, this is this is a historic event, man. I'm glad to be here. I've listened to you guys, and hell, now I feel like I really know you.
Well, my issue is I think we're only going to bring back the America that you alluded to, Bob, kind of like one person at a time. I mean, it's just who's in our sphere of influence. And, I mean, it might be 10, 15, 20 people or so. But then those 10, 15, 20 people need to contact, their sphere of influence of 10, 15, 20 people, and we are definitely missing something in the last 50 years.
Well, I think it's my personal opinion, and no, I'm no theologian by any means, or trying to be the best Christian I can. But what is evil? I think evil is the absence of God, and I think that's one of the main problems with this world. And if you're believe in the Bible, or that Satan rules this world, and I don't think it's ever been any more clear than it has in the last 20 years. But and the fact that it's gone unchecked for so long, that has an effect on the population. As Billy Graham used to talk. Well, not with Billy Graham. It was Paul Harvey. One generation.
Yes.
And I remember that as a child. My grandparents, we listened to Paul Harvey,
And for the rest of the story.
For the rest of the story. Yep. but anyway, and that it seemed like in 1985 when reading 1984, you know, it's like, no, man, this is bull. You know, there's no way this is gonna happen. You know, we're too far advanced for something like this. I mean, surely we'll see the signs that you were talking about earlier as far as taking the COVID vaccine. That's, to me, was symbolic of taking the mark of the beast. I mean, it just, not saying that was, but it was that same, it was, to me, in my life, from what I'd read, heard about, whatever, who would willingly do that, under what kind of coercion or whatever? Oh, you're going to lose your job? Okay, shit. So, I mean,
you're not going to be able to go to the grocery store. You're not going to be, right? And let's get these kill switches on these automobiles so we can shut you down. And I think that they have, and this is a whole nother show for another Saturday, but
we got to get out of here.
We got to get out of here. But the idea is that, you know, that COVID-19 was a test run.
Sure.
The real issue is coming somewhere down the road.
Yeah, it was a litmus test for control. There you go. Where are we? Well, here's where we are. And you were talking about the deaths. I think there was 1,500 in that year and a half span. 1,500 athletes had cardiac issues, and out of those 1,500 and something, 1,100 and something died. So these are statistics that have never. I mean, just like what? And this,
these are the people that are the most fit among the human race.
Right.
And they just drop dead.
Yeah, because
that being said, my dad's a pharmacist. He believes in that stuff, and we still argue about it, but okay. Oh, trust the science. I'm like, dude, they're having to use an emergency, you know, say nothing else works to get it approved. I mean, I know a little bit about vaccines. I mean, you know, just because the pharmaceutical company says, hey, here it is. The doctor wrote the prescription, you fill it. Yeah, okay, everything's good. It takes years. And
hey, Boob, since we're running over real quick and we got to get out of here, since we're running over, I told you earlier, I would like you to be on the Super Friends chat if you want to. That would be with Keith and Dr. Agnew and Scotty Hare and Holland Vanner Nieuwenhof and Ian Trottier and Ty Bollinger. If you want to be on the Super Friends chat, you should be.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll put you on there, so I'll get Scotty to put you on there after I hold him hostage and have my way with him. The thing is, because you haven't been on since April, dude, we're running over. Let's make it really quick. Okay. You, as who you are, as Bob Austin and all this, you told me, I told people in the Super Friends chat, Charlie Kirk, that shot. That kid take that shot?
No. No, and that's the craziest thing. And that's just, no, I don't think at all.
You called that a professional hit.
The Carcano with we talking about JFK, there's all the Oswald's Carcano, and being able to chain the 3 rounds was how improbable that was.
Yep.
And really and truly, it was, considering this video of him down on the street when it happened, it had been suppressed till a couple of years ago or whatever, I mean, a year ago. So yeah, I mean, but they got away with it, you know. That's the whole, and I guess that's that right there. We can do what we want, and we'll get away with it.
Yeah.
Know your place, know your role. We'll get away with it. One way or the other, we'll get away with it. We own the judges, we own the detectives, we own everybody. I mean, we will get away with it. You know, and
bottom line, anyone worth their salt. I mean, Brooks, I'm just saying, Bob knows his jazz. At first, he was like, "Hippie, that's a professional hit." So
No, I mean, that's what professionals do.
Sure.
I mean, and just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of the CIA killing anybody?
no, that's
Is that a trick question?
Been around for a long time, you know.
hearsay, objection.
I'm sure there's some kind of paperwork saying that we did it. I don't know, man. Or, but the thing is, and what's been going on for forever, they outsource it. So,
Yep. And I just wanted you to, that way you can say this on the record, plain and simple.
that's my opinion. And,
And I love Brooks. Brooks, I always love how Brooks, his take on the murder of Charlie. Brooks, you always say Charlie was the best of us.
He was.
Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one. There are a lot of us out here that do what he does, but he was the best of us. And he was, I watched a lot of his debates, and I don't think he ever convinced a single person that he was talking to. But the people that heard the debate, the surrounding people, were moved by his words, and they registered Republican. And this was right in the belly of the beast that this was happening, and that's why they had to remove him.
Institutions. We don't want you to learn that. See, this is our territory. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
Molded the minds of your young.
Yep. I keep saying it's not the New World Order. Don't fall for that. It's an old world order, and it's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's a lineage. It is. And it is.
Do you believe in spiritual warfare?
Exactly.
It's the only kind of warfare there is.
Pretty good.
I think it's in Ephesians, that our fight is not against flesh and bone, but against spiritual municipalities.
Principalities.
Yep.
Very nice, guys. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and close this out. Great show tonight with all of you. I think great show tonight. Well, when Tony gets up and gets ready to close us out, we'll do it. And I love how you're ready for the button.
Man, I'm not going to push that thing until I get that 3 thumbs up, time to go.
Hey, Brooks, if people go to brooksagnew.com, what are they looking for?
brooksagnew.com, get your Ivan and Roxy with no prescription at wholesale prices. And don't forget to pick up some best-selling books and audiobooks and other products for health and aging.
brooksagnew.com, and you can check him out Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. Where at? Squared. Brooks.
America Free Radio on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And if you miss the 8 p.m., don't worry about it. It's archived everywhere.
Yes.
X, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, DLive, Foxhole. It's archived everywhere, every Wednesday, every Sunday.
Every Wednesday, every Sunday, folks. brooksagnew.com. Bob Austin, I love you, my brother. I'll talk privately to you again, and we can discuss our latest stuff that we don't talk about. I'm just kidding.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, Bob.
My pleasure.
I love you, man. Thank you for coming on. Hoo-ah to Bob Austin. Keith Temple, Lieutenant Keith Temple.
Man, what a
Say
wonderful
goodnight to everybody.
What a wonderful Saturday evening. Couldn't spend it with any better people on this earth, and what an opportunity to have a little round table.
You got a special operator. You got a Delta guy. You got an Air Force guy. You got a Navy guy. I just need to join the military real quick.
There you go, man. All right.
But Keith, say goodnight to everybody, man. We're getting out of here.
Good night, man. Chad, awesome chili, man. awesome chili.
Rock on. That's Matt Pittman, Meat Church. If you go to Meat Church on YouTube, you'll find Matt Pittman and that chili that I made tonight, that Texas chili. For our elusive engineer, Sentinel, our great producer, Tony, and Adam Ertz shall be back next Saturday night. Scotty Hare hopefully makes his return very, very soon, folks. You just heard Brooks Agnew. Dr. Agnew, I'll see you next Saturday night, my brother.
I'll be here.
Folks, until next time, let justice be done till the heavens fall. I'm Chad. This is the one and only Earth.
I get to do the 47 dance.
Do the 47 dance. Do it. I'll do one with you. I don't know.
There you go.